The North Florida Sports Network. Hey, welcome back. It's the North Florida Sports Network. And it's time to finally bring back our Miami contributor, the North Florida Justin, into the conversation.
Now there's two things that are... Now you got two things back. You got me back on the podcast, and the U is back.
Oh, yeah. Yep, they're back before they even play. That's classic. But
exactly.
We also got Jimmy Reno. He's back from from Tampa, was it? Doing first downs?
Tampa, hell. I mean,
yeah. Out there.
Hey, tomato, tornado, same shit, man.
Junior had a football game, and
I mean, it was a jamboree, but actually it was just like basically lining up to get your ass kicked. They played one of the Florida elite teams.
Oh, wow.
This is a team playing a team with kids haven't even played before.
Before we get started on week 1, I want to go back to week 0. I've just been talking, and I've been talking to myself. I did an instant reaction, go back, check it out, and then I did just another football Monday. Jimmy Reno was calling in sick, so we'll go ahead and get...
let me get
your take, man. I know. Let me get your take on the tough, hard-fought loss. I've already said my take on it.
Hard fought. It's funny that you use that phrase, man.
I just don't.
Fought.
Georgia
Tech fought really hard.
Well, I believe Florida State fought. I just think they were outmatched.
Right.
And you got to give credit to the opponent. And I don't think it was as big as an upset as some people are saying.
No.
But go ahead. Just go ahead and I want to hear it though. I know
I'll start by saying, like, I had to listen to the last half, and pretty much from about the midway second quarter on, I had it on the radio.
You went back and you've watched it.
Right. But real time is real time.
But Jeff does a great job.
Yeah, man. I mean, the loss and like the fact that you got beat, and like you said, it's not as bad or as big of an upset as they're making it out to be.
He knew what kind of team Georgia Tech had.
What was disgusting is just the performance by Florida State.
Yeah.
And I want to say, and it was partly the buildup, what we expected going into. I thought the strength of the team was going to be the defensive line. That looks like the glaring weakness. Darrell Jackson looks like a kid that's played one game of football in the last 18 months, and he wasn't anywhere near a finished product when he was playing football.
Yeah.
It was nothing but potential, and he was on skates the whole game.
Yep.
I don't know, man. The linebacker play is the worst I've ever seen at Florida State, and it's one game.
Yeah,
but that was just awful. And I didn't watch the Orange Bowl. I assumed that a lot of the guys that were playing in the Orange Bowl,
that was the Don't Matter Bowl.
Yeah, well, whatever it was. And offensively, man, to me that looked every bad feeling I had or pessimistic feeling about DJ being the quarterback just manifested there in that game.
Okay.
All kinds of stuff. And then you break it down. You get into the dumb stuff. Jalen Lucas touching the ball 3 times.
Yeah.
Even though he was clearly the only chance you had at explosive plays.
Right.
Just dumb stuff.
Everything's magnetized because it brings out because they did such a great job of controlling the clock. So when you had the ball,
I don't want to discredit Brett Key and their game plan, man. Like, they came out probably threw out 70% of the playbook. Is like, we're doing this until we get in trouble. And they were able to, 2 drives that ate up over 15 minutes of the game.
Yeah.
That's kicking the shit out of the competition.
Right.
Just beating them on both sides of the ball down in the trenches.
Florida State figured it out, but it was too late because they had the ball last. And
they figured it out offensively.
Well,
they put a drive together.
They made the plays you had to make just fewer. So if you miss that one throw, you're not going to get another chance. And that one throw he missed to Ja'Kai Douglas, I think, changes the game. That puts them up a score. So at least then you have the ball. You have the ball at the end when it's tied.
The bottom line is, like, when you tie the game up and there's 6 minutes left on the clock, the last thing you want your defense to do is allow the other team to fucking just sit out there.
You'd rather them just score.
Right. And just excruciatingly get driven off the ball. And I'm gonna say it, man, like to have linebackers in that game that play 35 to 40 snaps and not record a single stat, that's your issue number one right there on defense. Because that's the difference between like a 4-yard run and a 28-yard run. And that we saw that. But overall, my takeaway is that this team it's going to fight to have a winning season.
Yeah.
That's my feeling on that, unless they improve a lot. And we saw some guys that didn't even get to play in the game, and I got questions.
The plus minus thing and all that big numbers charts, and I'm totally screwing up the name of it, but they have us to go. I mean, Florida State going 7-5, and I can see that, especially after this loss, and that's like the number now, so it could be under or over that.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't figure something out immediately on defense,
which is again with the expectations, I think you have a guy, the quarterback that Florida State wanted went to Miami, so they went going to DJ. I mean if you believe that, let's say that Cam Ward did go to Florida State.
The only issue with Cam Ward is he's got a high number of fumbles, and you saw that offensive line. Cam Ward's not a guy that's going to run first. He wants to be in the pocket, and
Miami's line been coming along.
Right. Well, Miami's line is especially pass block is worlds better than what Florida State has been the last few years.
And we're buttering them up, Justin. Are you still there?
Yeah.
I'm salivating.
It's the truth.
I'm salivating, bro.
Yeah.
I don't think it makes a difference if Cam Ward is under center for Florida State on Saturday. I don't think they win.
No, I don't. Game. I agree. I was just saying that it's not. You can't put it all on one player. And I know DJ missed, I would say, one throw. And it was because of how the game was called, how the game played.
Yeah, it was really
not because of him.
We don't have any wide receivers that are going to be, I think any kind of safety valve or
when you have
game
when you have 9 dudes in the box and you're blitzing the safeties, you have to go over the top. I don't care if you have, the best running game ever.
You don't run a counter play there?
No, everybody, you need to do something.
What if it's second down? I mean, you got to run it, right, Norvell?
Right.
A screen pass.
Right.
Literally anything other than just another check down, dude. I mean, DJ, you look like Chad Pennington, except 6'5", 250, dude. Right. All he did was dump it off.
Right.
It was the problem that, like Jimmy said, that the glaring things I saw in that Florida State game is Brock Glenn needs to be y'all's quarterback.
Oh, wow, really?
I'm with that, too.
I've been hearing that under
DJU's hot garbage, man. DJU is hot garbage. He's on his 3rd transfer for a freaking reason.
And we've seen
he is what he is.
We've seen what guys that are not fleet of foot.
So him topping out was last year's Oregon State year.
Yeah, and it's
that's all he can do.
They ran
the ball.
They ran a pro style offense, man.
Right.
And they had a pro running back. They had Martinez at running back, who's at Miami now, and
you didn't see that coach, which got a new job, try to take him with him.
It's also the Pac-12, where they don't play defense. Unless you're playing Oregon, maybe
this is a guy, Brock Glenn, though, who has done what?
Nothing, but he can run. Okay. He can move around. He's not going to sit there and just squat in the pocket when his first 2 reads don't go down. And
you don't know that.
Well, he may, but he's going to stay here.
Did you see the ACC championship game? You might as well put Toafili at quarterback then.
Hold on. You think DJU made it to his 2nd read before he squatted down and took the sack? No, because all I saw was Vince Young's offense. One read, take the sack. Except Vince Young was running.
Yeah, Vince Young can run. And I think maybe that's what you need to do. Maybe you need to have some more designed runs.
We've seen Norvell's offense with a guy that can't run and a guy that moves a step slow in the operating speed. And that's what that looked like.
Yeah, it's like trying to run a spread option with Big Ben Roethlisberger, man.
Yeah. Who are you referring to?
I'm talking about Rodemaker, Milton, when he was hopping around on one leg. Like, it just doesn't work. you got to have a guy right now. I mean, I don't know if it's Norvell's offense as much as it is like the offensive line. We're in year 5 and we're still relying on
he's not going to do it yet. They're going to, unfortunately, they'll have to lose another game before he would probably think about doing that.
Yeah.
I don't know if he'll do that either because
it'll be once the season, everything is off the table for the season. You know, making Charlotte and really even a winning season is kind of even at question. Then you'll start seeing a youth movement. I mean, you don't do it in week 2 or after week 2.
I would have rather seen him come out and thrown 3 picks. Honestly, yeah. You know what I mean? Like, and just like, hey, spread it out. Let's see if you got it. That way you can be like, hey, we're pulling them. Instead of this, like, hey, I was 19-27, efficient ball. You know, it's not my fault. And it's almost like, all right, you got to see more. But
all three of us could have gone 19 for 27 throwing dump off passes.
Yeah, all right. Let's. Okay. I think it's more, but I really do. I think it's more.
But it's like you said,
he's going to get the blame, and just like the quarterback,
you go 19 for 27, but you missed the only shot that.
Well, this team was supposed to be able to run the ball and play defense, and they didn't do it.
And that's why we saw Mike Norvell.
What jumped off the screen for me was all I heard all off season was how dominant this defensive line was going to be.
Yeah.
And Marvin Jones Jr. nowhere to be found.
Right. This
Patrick
is all.
Payton,
that brings
nowhere to be found.
That brings up an interesting point.
No,
I believe Marvin Jones Jr. and Patrick Payton are the same player at different career points.
Right.
Putting them on the field opposite of each other is going to immediately spell bad news for your run defense. You know, Patrick Payton was never a guy that was a complete defensive end. He was the pass rusher that operated off of Jared Verse.
The weight gain.
Yeah, and we were thinking, hey, you know, maybe he'll be a little more complete, but that just, not against this.
You had your best D-line last year, and it's proven right now because both those dudes are listed as starters for the Rams. You got 2 NFL
well, it's not just that, man. You had guys you had Fabian Lovett. And
then you had Pat Payton coming in with no pressure on him, and he could come in and be that specialist. Now it's like, oh, we got to block this guy. Yeah. We got to block this guy. We got to block this guy, and they can't take it, and they got pushed around.
And we've seen Payton and Farmer make plays. Okay, those 2 guys, we've seen them make plays, but it was as those rotational
like the third
pieces.
Or fourth guy, the guy you're not even game planning for.
Yeah,
last year you're game planning against Verse.
Right. So there was a lot of hype and based on nothing but just
and you
hope.
Have 2 of your linebackers that played a lot for a reason. So the defense was all hyped, and so
that was kind of
it's not fair to, I guess, what this team actually is.
Yeah, I think that's what we saw. Is like, man, you're gonna have to this isn't gonna be a team that just builds off last year.
We'll see, because I'm not. I would not be surprised if Georgia Tech makes a run.
No, they're gonna
stay
be
healthy.
They're gonna be really.
Now they have to play Miami. They have to play Virginia Tech, and I believe.
But what you didn't
Coastal, if it was still around, would finally
have a good. We finally have a good division in the conference.
Now, the entire ACC is Coastal.
Coastal would be really strong this year because I think.
I think Virginia Tech is a sneaky good team this year.
Really good. Virginia Tech's going to be tough.
What you didn't see Georgia Tech do is throw it over the top of the defense.
They didn't have to.
Right. Any team they play that can stop the run, that's got a stout front four and good linebackers, like Haynes King is going to have to prove that he can throw. That he can read a defense.
He can read a defense. He made the right decisions. Well, they weren't flashy, but he was asked to do what he had to do.
I'm talking about read downfield coverage. When you got to drop back and read
That's
your
true.
2-3
and they don't
reads.
Really have, yes.
Yeah. And like their lateral game, sideline to sideline, it kills teams because of their speed. But when you gotta throw downfield zone, you got safeties over the top.
Couldn't have picked a worse team to face if you had to take all the opponents you have to play on your schedule and put them and draw out of a hat as terms of what the order is to those opponents.
Yeah,
Florida State really, I'm not even joking, couldn't have picked a worse opponent to play.
I don't know if they open with Miami. Ruben Bain is still
I believe that, but I'm just saying that's going to be tough regardless.
I think
the win you played this game affected what happened to the outcome more.
I got
you. Now, you know what I mean? Because I think Miami's
Ruben Bain's going to be a monster.
Miami's going to be a monster no matter what. You got a team in Georgia Tech who's going to rely on a particular game plan, who's returning everybody, who can, it's just, if they already had film out and played another opponent, I would not be surprised with Georgia Tech if they played in the fifth game. It's a different story.
Maybe. But I think it's just a bad year for us to open with a conference game.
Anywho,
would have been great to play an FCS team for week one.
That's gone. We've spent the time. We've made it. It's football season though.
I'm sticking with my 7-5 at best.
It's no turnovers. You said that. We said no turnovers. It would be close, and it was close.
Turnover on downs, man. That's a turnover.
Okay. Yep. Well, there you go.
Should have kicked the field goal.
I said if they don't turn it over, and they didn't.
Yeah, they didn't.
That was what I said. I said if Haynes King doesn't turn the ball over,
because DJ Lundy is Lundy.
I think the defense made, in terms of decisions, some of those like little dump offs or just to run it and not fumble it was really impressive, and that's what all he had to do. All right, so we're moving on. It's week 1 now as we move.
Finally enjoy some football on Saturday.
Florida State will not be playing Saturday, so what we'll do is we're going to look forward to some other big games.
Right off the bat, man.
Yeah, and then we'll react to those games Sunday and look forward to the Labor Day game. But the first game we want to look at is the one right here, the one we've been looking forward to, Florida, Miami, in the Swamp. Justin, man, what's your initial take on it?
My initial take is you just gave me the chills when you said Miami and Florida in the Swamp. Oh, I cannot wait, because there is no team that I hate more than the goddamn Gators.
I think if you took a poll around America, that would be like 80% of the country.
Well, I hate them for very specific reasons.
Oh, yeah.
And it's why I respect Florida State fans more than I respect Gator fans, because Gator fans will not admit that they are chicken shit and refuse to play us every year.
They really won't. It is funny, man. They will not admit that.
Again.
Yeah.
And they won't do it. Well, they dropped us off their annual schedule in the late 80s.
The governor forced them to play Florida State. Yeah. So
yeah, I mean they're cowards.
And they still bitch about that. Spur your bitches about playing they're
elitists.
Yeah, they are.
But anywho, you got 2 coaches here and both on the hot seat. Is that fair to say?
I would say
Cristobal's not, because of the money they have invested in him, but
and I would say also I would say you got until mid-October before Cristobal's on the hot seat, unless everything just goes to hell right off the rip.
Right.
Because right now, Cristobal, like we've talked about for the past 2 years with him, he seems to have finally amassed the talent to overcome his own stupidity.
That is
and that's true. What I've been waiting for ever since we hired him. I'm like, he's got to get the talent
He's had
in there to overcome his idiocy.
Not enough. Not enough, as you can see. If you keep the game close, he'll pull it out at the end.
Yes, exactly. Like I've seen Haynes King go deep before, and it was against us last year.
Yeah. That's a good point.
I've seen him read that defense going deep at least one time, and it was with 17 seconds left after we didn't take a knee. But that's beside the point. That was last year.
I'm telling you right now, it's going to be a tough game, though. Florida as an opener is going to be tough, even when they don't have the best team. You saw what they did to Utah just a couple years ago.
Yeah, and Florida, I mean, as bad as they've been the past handful of years, Graham Mertz is still a damn good quarterback.
Yeah.
There is talent on that team.
Right.
I don't trust their coach, but I trust their quarterback, and I trust the crowd at the Swamp to make shit wildly uncomfortable for the Canes.
It's they're getting 2.5.
Now, I think that's idiotic.
Well, not really, man. You look at the rosters, and I think Miami is legit this year. I mean,
the roster's loaded.
They filled that quarterback spot with, on paper, a guy that can sling it. And if you have those weapons, which they do.
I mean, Restrepo, man. I mean, he's got his AARP card, and he's going to be out there running slants still somehow.
Isn't George still on the team? Yeah.
Yep, you got Restrepo, you got Jacoby George.
Houston. Yeah. What's that? Sam Brown?
Right. And then the running back from Oregon State. So
So you got Damian Martinez in the backfield, and backing him up when he needs a blow is that monster running back that we saw last year, the freshman kid Fletcher.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's back.
So you got a two-headed monster.
Well, they got a
really
good tight end freshman guy, right, from like Nevada or somewhere out west.
Yeah, I gotta see him. I mean, I have faith that he is going to be badass because it seems like every tight end at Miami is a badass.
Yeah, he's a little on the short side, but he looks like a problem.
Hey man, give me Miami's version of Nick O'Leary, an undersized tight end. I'll take him all day.
Yeah,
if he produces like O'Leary did, I'll take him all day.
I'm telling you, Florida has problems up front on offense. They got issues on the offensive line.
Which is not going to bode well for them against the Canes D line with Ruben Bain, and then who's that other pass rusher we brought in from
Tyler Barron. You got Tyler Barron from the portal. That big Justin Scott kid, the freshman. It's going to be tough up front for Florida. I could see it being close early. I think Miami's going to win handedly. It's going to get uncomfortable for Billy Napier pretty quickly.
It's God, I hope you're right. I hope you're right, man. Because
I think Graham Mertz, though, having him is great for that.
He's like a stabilizing force on that offense.
Being at home can settle that down, and they have weapons.
I don't know what they're gonna do at running back. Montrell Johnson. They say he's 100%, but still coming off missing most of camp with the little knee issue. And they don't have Etienne anymore. He's at Georgia. So they're going to be relying on some young guys.
One shot from Ruben Bain will make his knee hurt again.
Yeah. I just, I don't see a way that Miami's depth up front on defense isn't going to ultimately determine this game.
I see it the same way. I see what I see Miami being able to do. And why I'm saying they're going to win, but I also wouldn't be shocked if they lose because 25 years of Canesdom.
Well, the money is favoring Florida. Most of the bets are at 60-40 right now.
Man, I get it though because Miami always
it's the home dog,
and it's
home dog in the swamp.
Yeah, and the swamp is a nightmare to play in. No matter how bad the Gators are, the swamp is a nightmare to play.
It is, and it is that they have a. They're going to bring it. They're going to have a sellout crowd.
It sucks playing there.
It's going to be a rivalry game feel to it because you're going to have a bunch of familiarity between the players on the field. But with all the transfers, who knows if that's the same? But
no, it's the same.
Yeah,
it's the same.
Yeah, it's the same, man. As soon as you put on one of those uniforms, dude, you feel it.
And it's because the coaching staffs don't like each other. None of the coaching staffs in state get along with each other greatly, but Florida State, Florida hate each other. Miami, Florida hate each other.
There's a lot of talk.
It bleeds into the players. It's a nasty rivalry, and like Justin said, man, you will not get a Florida fan or graduate alum, whatever, to admit that they are the ones that will not play this game. It's all them.
Yeah, and it's infuriating.
Miami. I think Miami wins too. So that's 3 Miami picks. So,
yeah, I mean, what I see, what I see with Cam Ward, and y'all will remember this from a couple of years ago from the COVID year. Cam Ward reminds me a whole hell of a lot of De'Aaron King.
Yeah.
Undersized, athletic, strong arm.
Both guys from Texas.
He reminds me a lot of De'Aaron King, and that offense we had with De'Aaron King was fun as hell to watch.
If you have, if you can stretch the ball and move the ball down the field, it's going to open up your run game. It's not rocket science. It's football.
Unlike the COVID year, there's no Clemson team that's a giant in the way in the ACC.
And I haven't seen an offensive line at Miami like this since Bryant McKinney and Brett Romberg were there.
Yeah,
this offensive line is stacked. It might be a top 5 O-line in the country.
That's the reason you got the quarterback.
Right, and
we got the quarterback, we got the running backs, we got the line. There's no reason this offense shouldn't average over 30 a game.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Considering that, I don't see a way that Florida puts up those kind of points. So it's kind of easy.
I only do because of paranoia and Mario Cristobal.
I'm going to go 38-17 Canes.
I think Graham Mertz is a really good quarterback.
No, he is. He's efficient. But at some point.
And then I would not be surprised to see Legway play. And this kid's good.
Yeah, you will see that. You will see him.
And if they're smart, you bring them along. Like you play Tebow when you have them. You play those guys.
That's his ace in the hole. Like that's his job security is that he can do like Lagway
Chris
to
Leak kind of Tim Tebow kind of way, But that's a diamond in the rough right there. That kid's good.
I'll be interested to see what Florida's defense looks like. The tool shed scheme.
Tool shed scheme on D.
Yeah.
Do they have enough depth to hang with Miami?
For LJ,
I think in the beginning it's going to be, feeling them out. Defensive.
They got a couple good rush ends, but when you're talking about Miami's offensive tackles being a strength, like that kind of neutralizes that. Kelby Collins and LJ McRae are not all-American defensive ends, so it's
Miami wins.
Yeah.
If what?
They just play to their talent.
Right. Yes, exactly. If they play to their potential,
it's obvious
and if Mario Cristobal doesn't get in the way.
Yeah, that way. Yeah, but I was going to say if they don't turn the ball over, I think they can only beat themselves here. I mean, the fumbles or an interception here, some miscommunication, the environment. I think if they play a clean game, they should win.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I would call it. I'd say like a 35-31. Canes win because I do see this offense putting up a lot of points in damn near every game this year. Like I'd be shocked if our offense is as inept as we were last year.
I don't
Cam
think
Ward is a hell of a quarterback.
That much.
No, I don't like. I know they got a couple of really explosive receivers, but
again, they'll make plays. They'll make plays. They are still the Gators.
I don't know what they got in the running game. Trayon Webb was supposed to be good, but he
keep forgetting Mertz didn't play last year. Which you could tell. That game last year on offense was ugly.
Yeah, no, Mertz is a smart quarterback. There's still athletes on the field at Florida.
Right.
They'll score some points.
Right.
I don't see Miami winning by 3 touchdowns like Jimmy does.
Who started for Florida last year when we played them? Who was their quarterback?
It was that kid that was also a center fielder on the baseball team or something.
Yeah, that's right.
He's a super athletic kid with a cannon of an arm.
Yeah, he's transferred already.
Yeah.
All right, we've talked about Florida. We both think Miami goes into Gainesville and comes away with the win and covers, but it's only 2.5. So, all right, any other big games you're looking forward to? I mean, you got Clemson, Georgia.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. At noon, right off the bat.
I'm excited to see Clemson, Georgia, because like I said, all year last year, I think Clemson's run of dominance is over. But they could prove me wrong if they come out and show out against Georgia. I don't see it happening.
No,
I think Carson Beck is already planning what suit he's going to wear for draft day when he's the number 1 pick.
Yeah.
And I think Georgia. I think Georgia wins that one by a couple of touchdowns.
Yeah,
but I am still excited. I'm really excited for that game just because I like the matchup of Clemson and Georgia.
Yeah.
I mean they're right there. They're spitting distance from Athens to Clemson, man.
Yeah. This is.
I want to see if Phil Maffa can do anything against Georgia's defense.
Yeah, the big dude. Yeah, I want to see that
because he's going to get the bulk of the carries now at running back. Finally, But I don't see it being close, man.
I think Georgia's a juggernaut this year.
Yeah, I think Georgia's the new Bama at this point, dude.
They might be better.
Yeah, I mean, they might be. We'll see. We'll give them another 10 years.
Their offense is more explosive.
Yeah, I mean, we'll give them 10 years.
Yeah, I know, but I know you can't really look into that game, but it wasn't because of Georgia, and I think they're just going to brew from that loss. Kirby's a great coach.
Oh, yeah.
He's going to I would not want to be playing them at all. And I don't see them losing all year, honestly.
Yeah, I'd have to look at their schedule, but I could only imagine them losing maybe once.
Yeah.
Just
they'll be allowed to lose
Well,
twice.
they play Alabama in the regular season.
Yeah.
They play Ole Miss.
So and we'll see. You have to have the running quarterback. Yeah. You have to have someone tough. And they'll see if Clay Klubnik.
Cade
Klubnik. All right, well,
tell you what, it's going to be great watching Georgia's linebackers from Tallahassee and Thomasville, Georgia, out there, playing as All-Americans.
Doing their thing.
Oh, man.
We got guys playing 40 snaps, not making a single tackle.
Yep. That's a hole right there.
We're out of window.
All right, well, you got that game, and then you got Miami, Florida at 3:30. Is that right?
Right.
Yes,
and
sir.
You got A&M and Notre Dame that night.
Yeah, and LSU, USC.
On Sunday.
Yeah, on Sunday. And
I'm super curious to see what's up with A&M with no Jimbo and just like the dumpster fire that Jimbo kind of created over there. Yeah. And I'm a big fan of Elko. I am. I was hyping up Duke for the past 2 years.
Well, something to watch.
Change the culture.
Something to watch in that game. Freshman left tackle for Notre Dame. Their starter out for the season is going up against Nick Skouerton, the transfer from Purdue, who's an absolute monster at defensive end. That could be very, very interesting.
A&M wins.
You think so? Yeah. I mean, I think it being a defensive game,
I think you got a guy in Elko who was just there. Jimbo, I don't think it was just, a lot thing. He's going to get the morale right. You got players still. It's going to be at night.
Well, you got a hotshot offensive coordinator now,
and
Colin
you got a quarterback,
Klein.
yeah. And I think they made the right hire. They had him there all along.
It's another intriguing game, though, that I'm excited to watch. Not just because it's a cool little change of.
He's got his former quarterback that he coached at Duke he's playing him in his first game.
Yeah, and
Riley Leonard.
Oh, how's that leg?
Yeah, so we'll see
that's my question. That thing has not, it's been procedure after procedure ever since he shut it down last year. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I hope he comes back strong because I really enjoyed watching that kid play.
Right, but
and you put him on a team with more talent, then the sky could be the limit with him if he's back to what he was.
Yeah. He's going against a Duke team a coach that just coached him. So if anyone knows how to stop you, you would assume.
Yeah,
it could be vice versa though.
There's still a lot of defensive talent at Texas A&M too.
Yeah, that's the thing. There's still a bunch of talent with bad attitudes.
Yep.
And if Elko's
a defensive guy, and this is
like Austin, like you said, if he can shift the culture, if he got there in the spring and has already shifted the culture with all the talent that Jimbo built up there, that team could be scary.
Oh, they're gonna win. Look at the opening. Look what they did to Clemson last year. You could feel that culture when he took over at Duke. At that, just like that. I think it will be some. And he's now has the 12th man.
Yeah.
It's not rocket science. And Elko is a football guy. I think he's going to get it right.
A lot of familiarity.
Just a couple of years ago, before anybody even knew Elko's name, he hung 40 on Miami in Miami.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy's a damn good coach.
Yeah. All right. Well, let me see. Who is that?
We had to go.
Well, we got to get on out of here. Our ride's here. But it's good to be back in the football season, man.
Oh, yes, sir, it is.
Yeah, it really is. And I know you got to feel good about the Canes this year, but, I'm excited to watch all types of games. The playoffs are going to really change everything in terms of
Oh, no, 12-team playoff, man. This is what I've wanted since I was a little kid in 1995. Man.
Right. So piece it together. A loss is not, doesn't mean as much as it used to.
No,
it's more like that third loss. The third loss is the one that does you in at this point.
Right. So maybe
when you're lost, when you lose a game and you see so many flaws in your team, that's something.
Yeah, that's different than just any regular old run-of-the-mill loss.
That's when you sit there and you're like, all right, my 7-5 at best prediction is going to be spot on.
Oh, boy. Yeah. Well, hey, I would not be surprised to see it.
Yeah.
As long as one of those 5 losses comes to my Canes, I'm good.
We got it.
Hey, I think we probably lose to anybody in state if we played them this year. We're gonna. You mentioned 2020. I think we may see a little bit of that this year down there.
Oh, you can't be that bad. No, it won't be that bad.
No. It won't happen. You got to give Georgia Tech credit, and I will. I think they're going to be good. I think the ACC's going to be better than it was. And you got some teams out there: Virginia Tech, NC State, Miami.
It should be interesting to see who gets to Charlotte.
Clemson's still going to have players. They're not.
Duke's got Malik Murphy, the quarterback from Texas, and Manny Diaz running that defense. Right. Man, look out for Duke this year too.
Yeah, it's a lot deeper than it has been. So
yeah, possibly ever.
Yeah, so maybe they get 3 teams in. Who knows?
Oh God, that'd be something.
I doubt that.
Oh, that'd be great after Florida State spent the whole offseason trying to sue their way out.
Well, that's about financial money. And
no, that would just, the irony would just be so funny. Like, man, you wouldn't let us in because the ACC sucks. Now the ACC gets a quarter of the teams in the playoff.
I would totally take credit for it. Like, yeah, well, they only did that because we paved the way. Trailblazers, woo!
All right, well, we got big games this weekend. We'll watch them. We'll react to you probably Sunday and look forward to the Labor Day game against Boston College. Until then, talk to you next time right here on the North Florida Sports Network.
Yeah, I haven't hit it.
Okay.
We had to go. Our ride was here. We got a shuttle to our